Gibby, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, happy birthday, dude.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Did you go out and get your driver's license?
Yep, I got my permit. Come on, pass
Oh,
with flying colors. Flying colors.
oh, watch out, man. Watch
Yes, sir.
out, people.
I get to school. All my friends go, "Yo, boys, new driver, stay off the sidewalk." So I was like,
And they'll all be looking for rides too. You watch.
"Yep, they will."
Well, good, man. Well, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do this. I know you're busy. Let's jump right into it. Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Gibby, this is awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm excited to talk some baseball. But before we do, just want to know like how you doing? How you settling in? You in Texas right now, or are you in Los
Yeah,
Angeles?
Jake, San Antonio, Texas. It's been home for me for years, you
Yeah.
know. You know, I've been, my mom and dad are both from Boston, but my dad joined the military, so I ended up in Texas, and I've been here for 50 years. I'm an old man now, Jake.
50 years. I didn't think you don't look a day over 30.
No, no, I've been here 50 years. I wish I was 50, but thanks for the compliment.
Yep, it does. Okay, so before we talk about the World Series, because I know that's the hot topic right now, and I really got to hear your thoughts on that ridiculous series. Huge news. Congrats on your new deal, joining the Los Angeles Angels as the new bench coach. Wow, I'm so happy for you. You deserve this. Just I gotta know, like, tell me about like how this all came about. What was it like? Were you surprised for this? What happened?
Yeah, Jake, I was surprised for it. I left the Mets. We had a tough year there. Expectations were high. We didn't achieve them. So they made a lot of changes to the pitching, I mean, to the coaching staff, right?
Yeah,
And then so I thought, I thought I would probably end up just doing a little scouting, something like that, and then fade away. But then the Angels called. Perry Manasseh, their general manager out there, called me. He's an old buddy of mine. He worked for us with while we were all at the Blue Jays, and he just hired Kurt Suzuki, longtime major league catcher, to
of
manage.
course, of
And he
course.
wanted somebody with some experience. So we knew each other. He knew I had done it in Kansas City a few years back, and then New York for the last couple of years, and we knew each other, so it wasn't like it was much of an interview. But I was just impressed. I knew him, but I was really impressed with Suzuki. I was always a huge fan of his when he was a player, and hopefully I can go in there and help him out a little bit. But he's going to be really, really good.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you,
You
pal.
you mentioned the Mets, and you spent the last few years with the Mets, and that team had some incredible talent, but obviously didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. But just tell me about your time in New York, how you enjoyed it, what the franchise was like.
Well, Jake, yeah, I had a great 2 years there, but that was my original organization. I got drafted by the Mets back in
Right,
1980.
right.
I spent about a year and a half up a lot of up and down between AAA and the big leagues, and then that didn't work out, and then I bounced around a little bit, and then got into coaching back there with the Mets. So that was always my original organization, and a lot of ties there. And then when I got a chance to be the bench coach for Carlos Mendoza, loved it. He's a good quality man, great baseball guy. And I did that for 2 years, and I really impressed. I really like everything they do over there. And the number one thing is the owner loves to spend money, so that's a
Tons of
good thing,
money.
right?
Big thing.
Yeah, yeah. You came out and saw us, 2 years ago, and but you know what? When they went out and signed Juan Soto, and everybody thought automatically that's going to put us in the World Series, and
Right.
but we all know
That's not how it
that's
works.
never that easy, right? That
Yeah.
doesn't always work that way. And we got off to a great start. But halfway through the year, we had right up there with the best records in baseball. And then we suffered some injuries on the pitching staff, and then our defense kind of went down the tubes a little bit. It caught up with us, and we went to the final weekend battling just to get in, and then of course, Cincinnati had a better record than us, and they end up getting in. But professional sports, when when you have the highest payroll in the game, which we did, and you don't get into that playoffs, the owners don't like it, man, and they make
Yeah.
some changes. But they got a ton of talent there, and they're going to be all right. But I really love Mendoza, and he took good care of me. But now I'm back in the American League. I'll make a trip to Toronto sometime. I'm not
Yep.
sure when that exactly is,
We
but
can't wait for that. That's for sure. You mentioned though Juan Soto, and I was really felt like I needed to ask you about how you've coached so many of like elite stars. You've managed elite stars, but super like he's legit a superstar. 43 homers this year, 105 RBIs, OPS of 921. Tell me what Juan is like to watch and just how incredible is he day in, day out.
Jake, he's obviously as talented as anybody I've ever been around, and he just does things so easy and he's still a young man, he got to the big leagues fast and has been really one of the top hitters in baseball since day one, since he got there. And, he's one of those guys that, they step into the box, batter's box, and you always think something good can happen here, with it. And, he hits the best pitchers in the league, which is what the great ones usually do. Your Donaldson, Batista, those guys, Delgados, going on further back, my Blue Jays days. So I've been a lot of around a lot of great ones, and he fits right in there. And he's kind of a quiet guy. He just goes about, does his job, doesn't like the fanfare. He just he's a workman. He just shows up to puts his hard hat on and goes to work.
I remember when he was with Washington. I used to love to watch him, like love to watch him. He's been special ever since, still is, just honestly amazing.
Yeah,
Not,
he's the top two or three, four players in the game.
yeah,
No
yeah,
question about it. And he was up for that MVP. Judgy had that big year, and Raleigh too as a catcher. But
right,
of course they were in the American League. But you go over and when Otani's in the league, you
exactly.
know,
We're gonna
it's
we're
just
gonna get to we're gonna get to
he's tough to
Otani
beat. But those are the group of players he fits right in with.
for sure. Yeah,
That group.
very small like group of players that you can fit
Yes.
with. Okay, another star on that New York team was Pete Alonso, and can you picture him in any other jersey? I literally can't. And he's a free agent this season. Incredible bat, 126 like RBIs this year. Like, where do you think Pete's gonna end up?
Gosh, Jake, that's a great question. I can't see him in another uniform either. But, he wants a lot of years on that contract. And, of course, I don't know what's on all the inside outs, but, I don't know how many years they're willing to give him, because he is
Right.
getting a little bit older, but he still has a lot of good baseball left. But, they signed him back last year on a short contract and his goal was to go out and okay, I'll show these guys and put up a big year so he can be a free agent again, right?
Yeah.
And that's just what he did. But he's always been one of the big home run hitters in the game. He's always driven in, been one of the big RBI guys. That's you can pencil it in and plays every stinking day. You can't wear him out. Uh, so he's really a model player, and there's going to be a lot of teams bidding on him. Where he ends up, that's a great question. I would love to say New York, but that's not for sure anymore.
I know an Angels jersey would look good on him.
Oh yeah. Hey, any jersey would look good on him, really.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay, so we got to talk about the World Series because that was pure cinema. There were so many incredible moments from the pinch hit grand slam from Barger, the 18 inning game, Yamamoto, the game six ending, the game seven, maybe the best baseball game I've ever witnessed. Like what are your thoughts of like what we saw? What happened?
Gosh, Jake, yeah, what a tremendous series, and I don't think anybody fortunately gave the Blue Jays much chance going into it, but all you got to do is look at their team, and the kind of year they had and the production and, good pitching, great hitters, top to bottom, play great defense. They run the bases. They're really an old-fashioned type baseball team that did everything well, and they earned the right to get there. And, back and forth, back and forth. And, after when LA won that 18 inning game, you just think, gosh, you lose that game, what happens to you? Because everybody's exhausted that time of year anyway. But you know what? They bounced right back and won the next two
Yeah.
out there in LA. You're thinking that's the mark of a champion. And of course, then it came back to Toronto and the big game, and then tough one. But then you go into Game 7, and anything can happen. Then of course they had the lead late, and then gave up the home run late. But you know what? They'll be back. They got a great team. They should be back. They'll at least be in the hunt for that thing. But I love watching it. I felt proud. I brought back some good memories when we were in the playoffs back then, and it's something special about that place. Toronto and the whole country, they get behind you, man, when you're good. And
Yes, they
and
do. Everyone supports here.
Oh yeah, and you know what? So watching them and the support they got remind me so much of 15 and 16 and but I heard about the same things back in 92 and 93 when they won back to back.
Yep.
There's no better place to play, and they proved that again.
I think it was my dad. I think it was that I was talking to him before the World Series started. He's like, "Man, they gotta get Gibby to go out there and throw first pitch." I was like, "Oh, that's a good call. You should have thrown a first pitch. That would have been incredible."
Hey, I was sitting on my couch with my feet kicked up, Jake, watching it, getting all the replays and all that. But as far as guys there that on the list to throw up first pitch up there, I definitely wasn't at the top of the list. They've had so many great ones there, and it was an honor for those guys.
Right, right. Okay, so the MLB just announced Manager of the Year awards, and Cleveland Guardians manager Stephen Vogt won it for the second year in a row now. He led the Guardians to a remarkable September run and to get the division back and everything, but I think a lot of Jays fans are just really upset that manager Schneider didn't get it. I think he was snubbed like crazy because nobody could have predicted that this team would have this season that they had, come 2 outs away from winning the World Series, having the best record in the American League. Like, do you think the MLB got this wrong?
It's hard to say. You know what? Schneider was definitely deserving of it. But you look what Cleveland did. They come back, that final month and right before the vote, so that's fresh on people's mind. And you think about there's been a lot of great managing years up there in Toronto, and guys haven't been rewarded. I don't think Cito won, and they won, back-to-back world championships. So it all depends on who you ask. I'm a big Schneid fan. I thought he did a tremendous job, but he'd rather have going to the World Series and managing that bunch than worrying about that. But he definitely was deserving of it. But
Yeah,
you know what, they all three of them were. To get to that point, I think they all did a
fair,
tremendous job with their teams.
fair. That's fair. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is the last question, and it's a doozy. I've been arguing with everybody about this for so long now. In your eyes, who do you think the bigger hitter, the better hitter is? Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge? Hear me out for a second. I get it that not everything's about stats and what Ohtani's doing is ridiculous, but this is just hitting. And I think that Judge is the better hitter. His OPS is way higher than Ohtani's. He has a higher WAR. His batting average was better, more homers, more RBIs. His run creation metrics were better. I'm gonna say it. Aaron Judge is a more dangerous hitter, bottom line, than Shohei Ohtani. Do you disagree or?
No, you know what? I gotta agree with you. I'm a huge Judge fan. He plays the field. That takes its toll on him a little bit, but put it. You're not going to find anybody that's going to disagree that you'd love to have both of them, right? That
Yeah,
it's a great argument, and nobody knows who you will never know who's maybe someday when their careers are over, but you can't go wrong with either one of them. I've just been I will say this about Otani: he has got that flair for the dramatic, man. When they need something, it's incredible what
yeah,
he does. But you know what? I think Judge. Like you were reeling off those stats, and he was, it really comes down to, who's head ahead of who in those different categories. That's really the only way to break it down.
yeah,
Uh, you know, um, Now Otani, when he starts pitching again full time, that may take his toll a little bit on him, you know, um, as far as MVP and stuff like that goes. But you watch for the next 5 years, Judge will be right up there at the top in the American League, and Otani will be right there in the National League.
for sure, for sure.
What's too bad is for the other guys that are in the running. that have tremendous years, like we're talking about Raleigh or Schwarber or Soto, those guys. It's like, dang, man, because those guys are so good and had
They should make a
such.
separate award like MVP besides Judge and Otani.
There you go. There you,
Like
yeah,
second MVP for each conference.
exactly. Or who knows? They got to, but both of them are great for the game, and both of them handle themselves very professionally and or seem like great role models, and that's important too.
Yeah, they both seem like great role models. Humble, seem very humble out there. That's
Yes.
Gibby, this is really awesome. By the way, I'm gonna tell my friends that. I'm gonna tell my friends that you're on my side. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good for my
Dude, hey, you're such a good baseball man, a good baseball mind. I always agree with you.
You-
Maybe not always, but
Sounds
most of
good.
the time.
Sounds good to put
Hey,
on my
hey,
resume.
Jake, remember, great minds think alike.
Yep, it's true. It's true. So yeah, Gibby, thank you so much for doing this. This really meant so much to me. It was tons of fun. This is awesome. Can't wait to see you when you come to Toronto.
All
did you
righty.
enjoy our time?
Oh, I love it, man. And appreciate you having me on, man. And we
Of
want to wish you a
course.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'll do the show again. If you get you're having trouble finding somebody, you can always rely on me.
Of course. Forget if I'm even not even having trouble. Just would love to have you anytime.
Jake, thanks, pal. Say hello to the family.
Of course, we'll do. See you, Gibby.